Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Skippy Skip. It's been a while since I did one of these kinds of videos. I wanted to get a chance to talk to you and everything, and I wanted to do a couple of things. Wanted to do a movie review, and also talk to you about I guess, political reaction that's going along with it. Okay, it's been a long time since I'd done either one of them, so let's talk about the movie Superman. Okay, I saw the new movie Superman the other night. Actually, saw it opening night, and I thought it was really good. Okay, I thought it was probably the best superhero movie I've seen since Avengers Endgame. The Batman and Joker, first one, forget about the second one, but first one, those were pretty good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was pretty good, but I would still say that this one is probably the best superhero movie I have seen since Avengers Endgame. And, I mean, oh yeah, and the Eternals, oh yeah, knocks that way out of the water. I mean, don't even bother with that movie. And the second Joker, don't even bother with that movie. It's bad. All right, but yeah, and the woman who played Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, she has hands down got to be the best Lois Lane since Margot Kidder all the way back in the earliest Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. But yeah, and in fact, yeah, the movie as a whole, I'd say it's the best Superman movie since Superman 1 and 2 in 78 and 81, respectively. So we're talking about the best Superman movie in literally decades. And let's see, David Corn Sweat, I thought he was decent Superman slash Clark Kent. Nicholas Holt was very good as Lex Luthor. I mean, when Jesse Eisenberg played Lex Luthor, I think they were trying to do it more like the Joker, but no. Nicholas Holt, I think, really gave a better interpretation of it. He's supposed to be more like Gordon Gekko, like a rich person who lets his greed and contempt go way too far. Excuse me. And yeah, and also I liked the fact that they didn't make this a just another origin story movie where they just said from the very beginning, Superman's been active in Metropolis for 3 years, and he's already been dating Lois Lane for a few months. She knows that she knows that Clark Kent is really Superman. So let's just get all the basic stuff out of the way and let's focus on this story. I like it how they brought in Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl and some other characters into the background, but they kept them in the background. It's not focusing on, oh, we're going to build up a new cinematic universe. Well, they're there, but let's focus on this main story. It's like they're there, but they're still minor characters in this particular story. Minor-ish, but you get what I'm saying. And also, I like the design of Metropolis. From a distance, it looks like a city of the future, but at ground level, still kind of has an ode to the original Superman comics, and you see this sort of Art Deco mixed with steampunk aesthetic, and I thought that was pretty impressive. And one other little detail I liked is the car that Lois Lane was driving. It showed that she had a Delaware license plate. Now, the thing is that apparently something that most people don't know is that in the comics, Metropolis is supposed to be in Delaware, and Gotham is supposed to be in New Jersey. So it's like they're loosely based on different versions of New York City. Metropolis is like the prosperous, progressive, squeaky clean Madison Avenue version of Metropolis, and Gotham is like the crooked, Hell's Kitchen, corrupt, polluted, cramped style of New York City with a little influence from Chicago mixed in as well. Anyway, so I really liked the messages and everything, and I really like how, they made this version of Superman much more not so black and white. You see his weaknesses, you see his vulnerabilities, you see his where he's making mistakes, and there's even that whole speech that he gives at towards the end of the movie where he says to Lex Luthor, yes, I'm an alien, but I'm still human just like you. I wake up in the morning not knowing what I'm going to do. I struggle. I make mistakes. I fight to put one foot in front of the other, but somehow I do it. I'm just as human as you are, even if from a distance I look perfect. And, that's this thing, focusing on the human element of that experience of Superman and everything shows he's not this all-powerful entity, and I think it's relevant with everything that's going on right now in our treatment of immigrants, or they like to say illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, or sometimes just illegals to strip the humanity from them. There's a reason they use certain words like that, but yeah, yeah, I think that is especially relevant to what's going on today. I mean, you take the word immigrant, replace that with alien, and you've got a perfect analog for what's going on right now, especially with Alligator Alcatraz opening up. Great point right there. Okay, and so that's the other part that I wanted to address. Okay, the political ramifications of it. A lot of conservatives, a lot of MAGA people have been complaining on social media about how Superman has gone woke. Superman has gone woke. It's like, and I mean, Superman has always been woke. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. Superman was created by Jewish immigrants living in Cleveland, or I'm sorry, the Jewish sons of immigrants, I should say, and there was a lot of anti-Semitism going on at the time. That was one, like right before the rise of Nazi Germany, or right around the same time, I should say, and then there were still not a lot of pro-Nazi rallies in the United States, and people like Henry Ford were open anti-Semites, and you saw that going on, and so these two young men still progressed with their creation with the character of Superman. Superman in the early comics, okay, it was coming out of the Great Depression, or it was like in the later years of the Great Depression. 1/4 of Americans about were unemployed, couldn't find any work, and about 1/3 of them total didn't have any money, or they didn't have enough money, or so a lot of the people who were working, some of them, it was enough to get them a few dollars, but barely enough to really have anything to eat. Look at how expensive everything is now. Look at our wage stagnation, and you get, wow, this is really relevant to our time. So I think it was a great time that they released this. So look at all that going on. Part of the reason why Superman caught on so quickly is because he was a symbol of hope for people coming out of the Great Depression, coming out of starvation, coming out of uncertainty, and is a symbol for a better tomorrow or a hopeful tomorrow. And being the fact that he was born on another planet, is the ultimate immigrant, the ultimate refugee story. So we've got that going on. Looking beyond that, okay, who were who were a lot of Superman's earliest villains? Landlords who were charging their tenants too much for a place to live. Was going after all kinds of crooked villains like that. And in some of the early Superman radio programs, Superman even went after the Ku Klux Klan, which was a big deal during that era, considering that just a few years earlier, nationwide membership in the Ku Klux Klan had topped 1 million, and they were bold enough to make that statement. And I've seen this poster from 1950, okay, 5 years before the civil rights movement even began, where Superman says, now remember, boys and girls, this country, America is made up of people of all different races and all different nationalities and all different backgrounds and all different religions. So if you hear one of your classmates say that people don't belong here because of this or this or this, tell them that that kind of talk is un-American. Keep your schools all American. I mean, how progressive can you get? I mean, that was in 1950. Okay, that was in 1950. Or let's look at the character Lois Lane. I mean, in the 1930s or 1940s, the thought of an unmarried woman living by herself who's outgoing, is a competent journalist, and she has a job, but she's not a teacher or a governess or a vaudeville performer. Scandalous. That was very scandalous for the time. And then move ahead to the 1980s when they redid Superman for a more modern era. Lex Luthor was redone as a corporate villain, so he has more in common with Gordon Gekko, again, than he does with, say, the Joker. He's a corporate criminal who can hire the best attorney in town and have the charges dismissed. Look at what happened with the Diddy trial. He can have someone else be the fall guy. He can have someone else do this. He can kill somebody without getting his own hands dirty just by hiring the right people to do it for him. He can get away with all of these crimes, and because Superman has the character of person not to bring himself to that level, that's part of his weakness. Okay, he doesn't just snap Lex Luthor like a twig right then and there. He knows he can't do that. He has to do things the ethical way. So there's that. Also, last thing about Superman's being progressive, even his costume was considered progressive. Okay, in the 1930s, okay, that was before rock stars, that was before hippies or beatniks or surfing culture or skateboarding culture or anything like that. So to a little kid back then, a circus performer, a circus acrobat, was considered the great secular hero. And that's actually where Superman's costume was modeled after. Okay? Look at all these stern, solid pressed suits and hats in the 1930s. Look at just everything being perfect, and everyone is just so modestly dressed, and Superman is wearing bright colors and a cape. Okay, that was pretty wild for the time. And not only that, but again, coming back to it, deals with run away to join the circus. All right, there's that whole expression. It's like they ran off to join the circus. There's a reason there's that expression, because that was considered a place of some people who were really on the outer margins of society. Okay, they were like proto counterculture in a way. All right, so when people say, "Oh, Superman is gone woke," he's always been woke. He's always been progressive. He's always represented liberal ideals, because conservatism, so much of it, corporatism, is about the oppression, or results in the oppression, of the common people, and Superman is fighting against that. Truth, justice, in the American way. Truth, look at all the lies that Trump has told. Look at the cover up with the Epstein list. We know he's got to be on there. All right? So we've got all of those things. Superman has always been progressive, and if you don't know that, you don't know the character very well. Case in point, Dean Cain, who played Superman in the TV series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. I admit that's my first time getting into Superman as a character. I grew up watching that in middle school, and I liked it a lot at the time, but, you know, looking back at it, I think one of Dean Cain's mistakes, or why he wasn't as compelling a Superman as, say, Christopher Reeve, is Christopher Reeve would act differently as Superman and as Clark Kent to show the difference between the characters. Dean Cain didn't really do that. It's just like, oh, I've taken my glasses off, now I'm a different person. So there's that. So it just seems like, oh, so the fact that you're saying that, the fact that you're complaining about him being woke, that shows that you don't really understand the character. And maybe that's part of the reason why you weren't that great as Superman. I'm just saying. Okay, so yeah, there's that. But and by the way, Dean Cain is like, Cain's not his birth name. It's his biological father was from Japan, so for him to complain about the message of immigrants is extremely hypocritical. But you look at everything that MAGA is doing right now. You look at the treatment of immigrants, the treatment of Muslims. They're effectively trying to turn this into a white Christo-fascist nation, one step at a time, and Superman is trying. This movie is trying to change that. Okay, and also I liked the tidbit in there where Lex Luthor says, like, oh yeah, the people I have writing nasty things about you on social media, that's literally my set of trained monkeys that I've taught to use typewriters. So, ha ha ha, there's that. It's like, oh, perfect metaphor. You know, it's incredibly relevant to what's going on right now. Best Superman movie in decades, best superhero movie I've seen since Avengers Endgame. If you have not seen it, go see it. And yes, Superman has always been woke, has always been progressive. Peace out, one love, Skippy Skip.